All right, let's dive into one of the most transformative technologies of our time, generative AI. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what it is, where it came from, and maybe most importantly, where it's headed.
This whole story really starts way back in 1950. The brilliant mathematician Alan Turing posed this simple but incredibly profound question that basically kicked off the entire field of artificial intelligence. Can a machine think? And for the next 70 plus years, that was the question. It drove everything. We built these amazing machines that could calculate, analyze, even beat the world's best chess players. They were fantastic thinkers, but they had one key limitation. They could only analyze stuff that already existed.
But lately, things have shifted in a huge way. The new question, the one driving all the innovation you're seeing today, isn't just about thinking anymore. It's about something far more radical. Can a machine actually create?
And that brings us right to our first section. We're talking about a massive shift, moving away from an AI that just analyzes to an AI that genuinely invents. So, what's the real difference here? Well, think of it like this. Traditional AI is like a detective. It sifts through existing data, finds patterns, and makes predictions based on what it finds. Generative AI, on the other hand, well, it's more like an artist. It learns from all that same data, but then it uses those patterns to produce something totally new, something original. It doesn't just predict, it imagines.
To put it as simply as possible, generative AI systems create brand new content. We're talking text, images, even music, all based on instructions that we give them. We call those instructions prompts. It's like having a direct pipeline from your imagination straight to a finished product.
Okay, so how on earth did we get from a philosophical question in 1950 to these incredibly powerful creative tools we have today? Let's take a quick look at the key moments that made all of this possible. So, after Turing kicked things off in 1950, a huge leap forward happened in 2012. A model called AlexNet started what we now call the deep learning era, basically teaching computers to learn from massive amounts of data. But the real game changer, the true catalyst, landed in 2017 with Google's Transformer architecture. This new design allowed AI to understand context and data like never before, and it became the engine for pretty much all modern AI. And then, just 5 years later, in 2022, ChatGPT burst onto the scene and brought all this power to millions of people, making generative AI a household name almost overnight.
Now for the really fun part. Let's look at what these tools can actually do. I mean, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is a practical, creative toolkit that's available to just about everyone. Let's start with the written word. It doesn't matter if you're a marketer, a student, or a programmer. There are now tools that can act as your personal creative partner for anything involving text. And it's honestly as simple as this. You give a tool like ChatGPT a clear instruction, and boom, it can whip up a draft, brainstorm ideas with you, or even write code for you in seconds. You just provide the spark of the idea, and it does the heavy lifting. But it's not just about words, not by a long shot. Visual creation has been completely turned on its head. Right now, you can describe almost any vision you can dream up, and an AI can bring it to life. With tools like Midjourney, you basically become the art director. You don't need to know how to paint or draw, you just need to be able to describe a vision. Your words literally become the paintbrush. And this creative wave doesn't just stop with visuals. It's now crashing into the world of sound, turning simple descriptions into original music and letting anyone, and I mean anyone, become a composer. So with a tool like Sino AI, a prompt just like this can generate a complete, original song from scratch. We're talking vocals, instruments, lyrics, the whole shebang, all from a simple description of the vibe you're going for. It's pretty wild. Now, all of this creative power is incredibly exciting. But, and this is a big but, it's not without its risks. It's absolutely crucial that we understand the hidden costs and the challenges that come along with this technology. Because there's always a catch, isn't there? This creative revolution is forcing us to ask some really tough questions. Let's break down 3 of the biggest hurdles. First up, bias in, bias out. These models learn from the internet, and if that data is biased or flawed, well, the AI's output is going to be biased and flawed too. Second is authenticity.
The same tools that create amazing art can also be used to generate hyper-realistic deepfakes, which makes it harder and harder to know what's real online. And finally, there's the huge question of ownership. If an AI creates an image, who actually owns the copyright? Is it the person who wrote the prompt, the company that built the AI? These are the kinds of complex legal questions being battled out in courtrooms right now.
So, with all these amazing possibilities and these very real pitfalls, what does the future actually look like? Let's wrap up by taking a peek at what's just over the horizon. Right now, three major trends are emerging. First, AI is going to increasingly become our creative co-pilot, something that enhances our own skills rather than just replacing them. Second, we're going to see the rise of AI agents. You can think of them like autonomous assistants that can handle complex tasks and workflows for you. And third, and this is the most important one, there's a global push to build and use this technology responsibly. And this isn't some lawless frontier anymore. We're already seeing major regulations like the EU AI Act pop up to set clear rules for safety, transparency, and fairness. It's basically creating a global standard for how these powerful tools should be built and used. And that really brings us to the heart of it all. Generative AI is more than just a piece of tech. It's a mirror. It reflects our own creativity, our flaws, and our biggest aspirations. And as it keeps evolving at this incredible pace, the most important question isn't going to be about what the technology can do, but about the choices we, as people, decide to make with it. Thanks for tuning in.